Number 6, in Luke 5:34-38, believers are engaged to Jesus Christ. I told you, salvation is a person, and that person, if you're saved, you're engaged to him. Now let me ask you, are any of you engaged? Don't raise your hand. If you're engaged, you know it, don't you? I mean, is anybody here engaged to be married and doesn't even know it? If so, we'd think there's something wrong with you. You know what? Christians either know they're engaged to Jesus Christ, they are betrothed to him, they will someday dwell in his house forever and be married to him for all eternity, or they don't, and they're not saved. Now you say, wait a minute, what happens when a Christian isn't sure they're saved? When a Christian isn't sure they're saved, they're acting like an unbeliever. And God does not allow the assurance of salvation to people who are persisting in their sin. That's part of the evidence of salvation, that we're grieved and we're quenched and we are horribly under the chastening hand of God when we persist in our sin. Or when we allow our sins and our lust to separate us. If I regard iniquity in my heart, that means if I'm looking and longing after sin, God won't hear me and I lose the joy of my salvation. But the instant that we agree with God about our sin and turn from it back toward him. Remember the little car? Like this? He restores to us the joy of our salvation. And we know that he has cleansed us and we walk in the light and in fellowship with him. But we are engaged to Christ. Now look at the next line. Engaged to Christ, number 6. Regenerated. And that's what salvation is. Salvation is not joining Tulsa Bible Church. Nobody got saved by coming up on the platform. It's not going through the water behind those 2 doors right there and being baptized. No salvation by water. No salvation by coming up in front and doing anything. No salvation by us doing something to you. It's being engaged to Jesus Christ and regenerated. The work of regeneration is God, from the inside of us, puts in a new operating system. The Scriptures put it this way, Ezekiel 36:26 and 27, a new heart also I will give you, God said. A new spirit I will put within you. I'll take away your stony heart. I'll put in a soft heart. And I will put in my spirit, and you will keep my commandments and do them. We get a new operating system. And the result of that new operating system is everything I'm talking about here. We have light in our life and endless life. You know what? This old package is falling apart and dying. A little more every day for all of us. No matter how old you are dying by the moment. But our spirit is indestructible and has endless life. And so you know what? There's a growing detachment. As the body continues to decay, our spirit more and more longs to be with Christ, which is far better than all the aches and pains. And that's what this, as it says here, regenerated and indwelt. That means our shepherd, through his Spirit, lives inside of us. You know what Jacob said 4,000 years ago? You know, Jacob as in Israel, as in the father of the 12 tribes. Do you know what he said? Just before he died, he says, the good shepherd has led me every day of my life. Isn't that neat? I mean, same salvation. We're talking about Old Testament, New Testament, future, past, Garden of Eden, flood. All people were saved the same way. God puts his righteousness on them, and God keeps them to the end and takes them home. What a blessing.